Hi guys, today I am back with another video explaining the looks code today and the purple code and all of this code today. It's not going to take as long as you think, so let's just go ahead and get into it. First we're going to begin with the say hello for 2 seconds block. So when the cat says something here in the middle of the screen, it says hello for 2 seconds and it goes away. That's pretty much it. You can set this to anything you want. I can just put something random and it would say it. I can say, hello, would you like to play? Question mark. And it would say it. It's really cool. Now, this thing right here, it's the same thing but without the timer. So this just says it indefinitely. And you're probably wondering, what if I wanted to say something and then I wanted to say something else? Well, that is completely fine if I just put the word hope for no reason. I can say hello and I can say hope. And I can say hello and hope back and forth. Over and over and over again. And then if I don't want to, and then if I want this speech bubble to go away, I could just not type anything and it completely goes away. Because you're not allowed to have a speech bubble with nothing in it. If I put a space, it says that's how you get a speech bubble with that. And then now we are on the think. So think is the same thing as this, but as you can see the bottom of that thing right there, it's kind of like at a curve. But when you think, for 2 seconds, it changes to dots, and then it just goes away. And then it's the same. And then it's the same thing as this, except it says it indefinitely. And then once again, if I don't want it to say anything, it goes away. Alrighty, next up is going to be to switch costume. Now this will be just solely relying on the cat. I can just, if you look at its legs right there, it'll look like it's running or skipping, and then I can go back. This is a drop down right here, so you can change it to whatever you want to. And the next costume button just does that. And it looks really cool once you get an animation flowing with your cat. Next up is the switch backdrop. So as you can clearly see, the backdrop is what's behind the cat. So you see you got a vast open baseball field looking at the batter, if there was one, and the crowd behind it. I can click switch to, well in this case it would say baseball 1 and baseball 2. And if you're making custom backdrops, it would say backdrop 1 and backdrop 2, and so on and so forth. And I'll switch to baseball 2, and they have the side angle of the baseball field. And then if I want to do next backdrop, that's how it'd be. Switch to the change size. This is on the cat, so it's changing size on the cat. And we can make the cat get bigger. And we can change this value to make the cat be smaller. And then this one right here solely sets the cat's size. And I can make the cat smaller than 100%. It goes off by percentages. So 70% of the cat's size would be that. 100 is what it is by default. And that's basically what it is. Next up, you have the change color effect by 25. Now, I'm going to start with the set color effect first, because it's basically more important. So currently the cat's color effect already is 0, but let me go ahead and change it to red real quick. Alrighty, so now it is red. If you're going to use the color effect block, I really recommend changing your cat or whatever object you're using to red. I'm not going to make it fully red, just so you can see the eyes and whiskers and mouth and everything. So when we set color effect, now its color effect is still 0, but if you're using red, which is very recommended by me, you should definitely use red. If I increase this amount, if I set it to, let's just set it to 10, the color changes to orange. If I set it to, I believe it's 20. I don't have these memorized. That's the default technically, somewhere around that. If I set it to 30, that's yellow. 40 makes it somewhat green. 50, not 590, makes it green. 60 makes it fully green. 70 starts that cyan shade. 80 is where it becomes cyan. Actually, 90 is where it becomes cyan, and then 100. That's cyan, definitely right there. And then it goes all the way to 150, where it becomes purple. 160, where we're starting to enter that pink. 200 is where it starts back to red. So it goes from 0 to 200. And then, if I change the color effect, that's where it gets really cool. It just changes the color effect. Now if I set it to 80, this is where the clear graphic effects goes in. It just clears everything. Now you can clearly see there's a drop down box here, right? So we have fisheye, whirl, pixelate, mosaic, brightness, and ghost. So some of these really don't matter because you do fisheye. I'm not really gonna use fisheye that much. It just makes it look absolutely goofy. And then I do whirl. Whirl kind of like twists it. So if I set it to 300, it's like that. If I set pixelate, which pixelizes it, this is for, if you want to make a retro game, this is definitely for you. Sort of pixelizes it so it gets bad quality. If I set it to 100, it is completely pixelated. The pixels get bigger the more you do. If I do mosaic, I set to 60, that's where it multiplies itself, which looks really cool. And it's just one sprite by itself. Brightness effect, actually let me set mosaic back to 0 real quick. Brightness effect, one of my favorites. If you set it to 100, it's completely white. If you set it to 0, or not 0, if you set it to 0, it returns back to normal. If you set it to negative 100, it goes completely black. Lastly is the ghost effect, which kind of helps into later. If I wanted to have 50 ghost effect, this is where transparency comes in. You can kind of see behind the cat. 75 makes it even more transparent, but you can still kind of see it. And 100 makes it completely invisible. And you set it back to 0, and it's fully visible again. If I set it to 1, nothing really happens. And now we move on to the show hide blocks. The hide block literally just hides the cat. Like, it's gone. And then show just shows it. So you can go back and forth between the two. Alrighty, next is go to front layer and go forward 1 layers. For this, I'm going to need another sprite. We'll make it cyan. So currently the cyan circle is overlapping the cat, which means it's on top of it and the cat is being blocked by it. If the cat wants to go above that circle, that's what go to front layer is for. And if it wants to go behind the circle again, that's what go back layer is for. Now this thing right here, go forward 1 layers, I can just go ahead of it and then go backward layers. however many layers you want it to go, just so you're well organized with them. Lastly, we have these things right here. Since the costume number is already 1, that is set to 1. Once again, if I change this to the second costume, which actually makes it orange again because I turned only costume 1 red, now it says costume 2. And then for backdrop number, it says it's 1. If I do that, it says it's 2 and I click it. And then for size, it says 100. I can change size by -10, and I can make it go up again. I'll leave it at 80 for now. It says 80, and then I change it to 100, and it says 100. That is all of the looks code summarized up for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more coding content. Alright, see you guys.